So I'm trying to get caught up on Daredevil before Born Again begins, and I just finished season 2. I'm gonna see if I can watch The Defenders and then season 3 of Daredevil by next week, because I know next week is when the episodes premiere, and I want to be able to see them fully knowing what's going on. So in this video, I want to talk to you about my review of season 2 of Daredevil. I actually realized that when this first aired, I saw season 1 back on Netflix way back when it first aired, 2015-ish. And I actually realized while watching this, I did not finish season 2. So some of the stuff in this episode, or in this season, in these episodes, I either totally forgot or I just never saw. But my goodness, season 1 had some of the most phenomenal character work from, the writers. I mean, everyone, Wilson Fisk, Matt Murdock, Stick, even Foggy. Every character was very well developed. You got to learn about their backstories through flashbacks, and it told a story of the origin of the devil of Hell's Kitchen. So, season 2, this is what you call like a sequel done right. When we go back and look at the great sequels of the past, whether it be seasonal or whether it be movies, stuff like Empire Strikes Back, The Godfather Part 2, The Return of the Jedi, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. When you look at the greatest like Part 2s of any series, you notice that what they have in common is they take the characters that you already sort of are already familiar with and care about, and they put them in a newer, deadlier situation and raise the stakes. And Daredevil season 2 certainly did that because, man, I was totally into this. There are so many characters in season 2, new and old, that get moments. There's many different plot threads going on at once, to the point where there were a couple times where I had to really pay attention because there were a few different things going on. The big thing about season 2 of Daredevil is that it introduced John Bernthal as the Punisher. Now, I want to make this clear, I adore the Thomas Jane Punisher movie from 2004. I thought that was, very well made. This Punisher, John Bernthal captured all of the qualities of that Punisher, especially when it comes to the relatability of the anger he feels for what happened to his family, and made him even scarier. This Punisher is a guy that you do not want to mess with. I mean, this guy, see, with Daredevil, because he's an attorney, he believes in the law, he believes in, actually doing due process and locking criminals up. I don't think he's as lenient as like Batman is with the no killing rule, but he wants to do things by the book. However, early in season 2, the big conflict is that the Punisher is the vigilante, and he's not giving criminals a chance. He's killing them. And to be honest with you, the way the show is written and the heat they put on the criminals, yeah, I kind of want to root for this guy. I'm not saying that I'm okay with people dying, but there were some truly despicable people that the Punisher snuffed out that, in my opinion, deserved to get snuffed out. There was one guy who was running like an underage, like trafficking thing with like underage girls, and dude, I torture him, dude. Like that's. No, there are certain crimes I think where it's like, no, like, let's do it that way. I'm not even gonna, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I have no problem with it. But Daredevil, with his Catholic roots and everything, I get it. I understand their sort of conflict, but they have a beautiful scene on this rooftop where they both kind of get to know each other. And this is early in the season. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this is already happening early in the season. I was expecting a conversation, because I do remember this conversation from my first viewing. But for some reason in my head, my memory failed me because I thought this conversation took place much later. I thought this conversation took place like in one of the latter episodes, but no, like, and it was really, really well done. John Bernthal and Charlie Cox did a phenomenal job. This season also introduces Elektra and gives a whole backstory with her and how she's linked with Stick, and they also really put in the driver's seat, I guess, or in the forefront, the ninja clan known as The Hand, which in the comics was one of Daredevil's true arch rivals. The Kingpin was an enemy of Daredevil in the comics, but he started as a Spider-Man villain, which is why I think a lot of people want to see Spider-Man and Daredevil together on screen, because they have a common enemy and they're both street level characters. Now, it's come out that in Daredevil Born Again, Spider-Man's not there. He may be mentioned, but Sony has like a rule where the MCU cannot use live action Spider-Man with the exception of the MCU movies. They can make animated series like an animated show like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but they cannot put him in live action. So unfortunately, we're not going to get Tom Holland in Daredevil Born Again based on what the showrunner said recently. But Kingpin was a Spider-Man villain that Daredevil shared, but ultimately The Hand I always associated with Daredevil. And they're not the only ones that, have... The Daredevil's not the only guy they have beef with, but there's this whole subplot about Elektra and this... And I don't even know if you can call it a subplot. It really kind of builds up a lot stronger near the end of the season, where The Hand wants her and Stick knows about it, and basically Daredevil's caught up in this. He ends up getting feelings for Elektra earlier in the season. Now, when it comes to Wilson Fisk, I was surprised that he was left out. He was left out for the first few episodes of the season, and I was wondering if we were going to see him at all. But apparently yes, we did see him. And what a tremendous work from Vincent D'Onofrio in season 2. There are scenes with the Punisher and Kingpin in jail that are just... It's like movie level stuff here. It's like cinema, as they say, like the Martin Scorsese, like, this is cinema. That's what this was, man. They packed so much story into season 2 that, I'll be honest, I kind of want to go back and watch it again. Like, I kind of want to watch the whole season again, because there's probably little details and little Easter eggs that I missed. And when you see a show, then you go back and watch it again, you pick up on some of the foreshadowing and things like that. So, man, just... I cannot believe it. What blows my mind is season 1 was really, really good. I mean, like 10 out of 10. Season 2 is like 11 out of 10. It breaks the scale, So the stuff that was actually riveting just as much as like the very violent fight scenes was also some of the courtroom drama. Like how they decide to represent Frank Castle in court, and how... they first see him as this just crazy vigilante, but then they realize he's a man in pain because of what happened to his family. And then as the season progresses, you find out that it's actually way more crooked than originally thought. I thought that the 2004 Thomas Jane movie, I thought that one was really... in some ways more tear-jerking, more, it's more of a focused story. Here, this involves like corruption, and there's a lot more, a lot more blocks to this building, if that makes sense. But yeah, when they first showed Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin in jail, I think it was episode 8? It might have been episode 7, but it was... for sure right around there. That's when the show, I think, really started to pick up. And I think the stuff with Kingpin and the Punisher was my favorite stuff of the season. It's not that I didn't like the fight with the ninjas and Electra and The Hand. I like that stuff too, but for me, like, I could see a Kingpin and Punisher. The whole season could have been just them two, and I would have enjoyed it. Like, they're two, like they're similar characters in that they're just really really badass. You know what I mean? And they're the performances were just phenomenal. Also, that scene at the end with Stick and the Japanese guy Yoshioka or whatever. Oh my, bro, Stick is like if Mr. Miyagi were in Cobra Kai. Stick is like the angry, vengeful, murderous Mr. Miyagi, the old master who trains, Matty as he calls him, and Electra. But man, he's ruthless. He is ruthless. Honestly, man, I need to watch this again. I need to watch it again and really, really like hone in on the story. I think what I might do if I have time is after I get done with Daredevil Born Again, which is coming out next week. And I also have to catch up on the Mission Impossible movies as well. Don't think I've forgotten about that. I have like 6 more of them to watch before the last one in May. But I think what I might do is, as I'm covering, when I get done covering Born Again, I'll go back and watch this season again. So that way, knowing what happens in the end and then kind of seeing how we get there. You know what I mean? Like, sort of, because there's a lot of episodes. I mean, this is not like a 30-minute or a 22-minute show. These are like 50-minute long, hour-long episodes. They're thick, and there's a lot of story, especially in season 2. Much more than season 1. A lot more to follow. And I feel like if I go back and see it again, I'll pick up on things that I missed the first time. So I think what I'll do next is I'll probably watch Defenders and try to squeeze in season 3. I've only got a few days left, so hopefully I can get it done. I'm a little worried about it because I have a lot of work this week on the Geekdom 101 channel, and there's also a wrestling pay-per-view this weekend, so I'm going to try, but we'll see. But Daredevil season 2, if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it. I mean, just phenomenal, dude. And I know the Punisher got his own show, and I really want to check that out as well. I know I want to see that. There's this like street level Hell's Kitchen type of shit, man. This is perfect for Marvel TV. Like, this is perfect for these types of shows. Daredevil almost felt like Marvel's response to the popularity of shows like Green Arrow and The Flash. It was almost like they're saying, okay, we can tell smaller stories. Maybe not like, I mean, The Flash isn't really a street level cat. He can time travel. But I mean, it's sort of like you have Green Arrow, much more of a street level character based story. Daredevil, I wonder if someday we'll ever see like a live action Batman series. Not like the one that we got with Adam West, even though I love that series. It's a lot of fun. But I would love it if there was a live action Batman done by the showrunners of Daredevil. You know what I mean? Something like, sort of like what they did with the Penguin and the Batman, like that, except it focuses on Batman. I know that there's the Gotham show, but Batman's not really in that. So that would just be a pleasure, it would be great. So, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on Daredevil Season 2, if you remember it. And we got just a few more days, man. Charlie Cox, Deborah Ann Wolf, or Wool, not Wolf, Wool. Just tremendous, man. Tremendous. Great work. I'm out. Take care.